Hey, what's going on, man? Hey, I went ahead. I wanted to make a quick video over today's quick check. All right, you guys will get these back in class. I just thought it was really important, man, that we talk through this. And you're able to reference it multiple times. Okay, so let's go ahead and dig in, man. This first equation right here. All right, for f of x, x cubed plus 5. Write the new equation for g of x equals f of x minus 1 minus 3. All right, well, check this out. See how this is f of x? The first thing we need to address is this part right here, f of x minus 1. All right, where there's an x, you now added minus 1 to that. All right, you took that f of x, all right, and you changed it to f of x minus 1. So where there's an x, we need to subtract 1. So right here, this is f of x minus 1. So we're going to take this, all right, and change it to x minus 1. All right, f of x minus 1. All right, now because this was x cubed, this still is cubed. It's just, it goes from x to now minus 1, x minus 1 cubed. All right, plus 5. All right, and then once we make that change, which is done right here, all right, we need to go ahead and subtract 2 from the whole thing as well. All right, so, well, that's outside the parentheses. We can simplify that. All right, and when we simplify that, we get g of x equals x minus 1 cube minus, plus 3, because 5 minus 2 is 3. All right, there's your answer for number 1. Number 2, write a function that reflects f of x equals 2x cubed plus 1 across the x-axis and then shifts down 3. All right, now this one, guys, you got to be kind of thinking about, you just do it in the order, man, it came, the order of operations. So the first thing we're going to do is reflect the x-axis. All right, so if I take this and reflect the x-axis, that means, see how this is f of x? All right, we're going to reflect the whole f of x. All right, the whole thing gets reflected. So we take this whole thing and reflect it, which means what you get here is negative 2x cubed plus 1. All right, I got to reflect this whole thing. All right, then after I reflect it, I'm going to go 3 units down. All right, so here's what happens. When you reflect this whole thing, you get negative, let me change colors. You get negative 2x cubed minus 1 minus 3. All right, because I distribute that to the 2, I got negative 2. Distribute that to the plus right here, and I get negative 1 minus 3. All right, so make sure you understand you got to distribute to the whole function. This is the, we're not thinking that, oh, x is the parent function. No, this is f of x. And you're making these changes to what f of x is. So this is the whole f of x, okay? Now, when we distribute that, here's what we got. And then we went 3 units down, so minus 3. That's where this came from right here. All right, 3 units down. So now simplify it. All right, and negative 1 minus 3 is negative 4. So final answer for the new function, all right, I'll call it g of x, all right, is negative 2x cubed minus 4. All right, there's your final answer, okay? For this problem right here, guys, it says the number of videos sold per month can be modeled by this equation right here, where x represents the number of months since July. All right, so let g of x equals f of x minus 15. All right, final rule for g of x and explain the meaning of the transformation. All right, well, listen, man, if you take this equation right here, f of x, this whole thing is f of x. So you have 0.02x squared, x cubed, plus 0.6x squared, plus 0.2x plus 125. And then we take the whole function and subtract 15, right? There's only one thing that can be subtracted here. All right, that's x cubed, x squared, x, that's a constant, all right? So, you know, this is the only thing that you can subtract, guys, to get 110, all right? So basically what we're saying here is, man, it says find a rule for g of x. All right, there's our rule, man. G of x equals 0.02x cubed plus 6x squared plus 2x plus 110. All right, because 125 minus 15 is 110. All right, and then it says explain the meaning of this transformation in terms of monthly videos. Well, they sold 15 less videos. You see what I'm saying? They sold 15 less videos. All right. And then right here, man, describe the transformation. All right. Describe in words g of s as it transforms to f of x. All right. Well, what happened right here? X minus 3. All right. X minus 3 tells us right 3. All right. Right 3. And then the plus 4 says up 4. All right. Well, this video is really short. It's really to the point, guys. I hope this helps. All right.